Hello, everybody, and welcome. This is One Day Today. We are episode 125. Almost missed 100 episodes. So glad to have you all with us. I'm really excited about our guest today. This is in this space. We always like to have inquiries, and you know, it's always a pursuit and a discovery. In this world we're born into, in these bodies we're born into, in this life. Me, myself, and many of you would say, or are always faced with the question with who am I? Why am I here? Like, what is it? And each and every day, we have a choice to really plant seeds. And in my experience, most seeds either come from a place of love, of creation, of possibility, or fear and restriction and lack, or just survival. And I think we all have our own journey and our own story, to discover that we even have a choice in the first place. But I think this is one of the most powerful things we have. And that we all, but I'll just talk for myself, will forget that I have that choice. Every day I wake up, whether it's going to be a day that I nurture and plant those seeds of love, or I write a song or play a song just to make myself smile or to make someone else smile, or whether I show up for others and serve others. And I think, in our life, in our journey of life, that's always the discovery, as the world, as God, as the universe, all that is throws circumstances our way. We get to respond, we get to create in the face of whatever we're facing. And I think, well, I'm really excited about our guest today. But one thing I really, is a common theme here, is art. And I think one of the roles of art, in my experience, and just what I've observed in art in the world, is it brings beauty in places that we never could have expected. And just imagine, we had a guest a couple weeks ago. It's like, imagine the world that never had Star Wars, or imagine the world that never had the Beatles, or like, there's so many things that art brings us in our lives, and the beauty that we didn't even know we could experience. And this is where we have this space, and we really recognize that we're all capable to make that choice, to plant those seeds of love, of beauty, of laughter, of wonder. And I would say, no matter who you are, where you're from, what you believe, what color or creed, you have something unique, you have something beautiful to offer, that can lift up others and empower others in ways beyond you or I or we could ever imagine on our own. And this is what the space is for, to celebrate, those who choose to plant those seeds of love, of beauty, in the face of circumstances that they have every reason not to. And that's really what this is boiled down to. Every moment we have a in every circumstance, we have an opportunity to transmute, to transcend, and transform our circumstances for ourselves, but also for all the people around us. And I'm excited about our guest today. You'll meet her in a moment, but let me first welcome our co-host Matthew. Hey, brother.
How's it going, man?
It's going good. How are you today?
Uh, I'm good. Like I'm better than I have been the last few days. It's been a full couple of weeks. I think I mentioned that backstage, but um, I feel it's good to be back. Like it's been a while since we've done this. It feels like it's been a couple of lifetimes actually, and it's good to be back. It is.
Absolutely. I feel the same way. So, we were talking, you know, well, we brought this up a lot, but I want to see, well, if you had anything to chime in about what I was sharing about. But like, what do you see as, you know, what you're saying, you've had a long couple weeks. Like, what do you say, you know, when you're experiencing those rough couple weeks or rough couple days? Like, what do you see as the opportunity, or how do you find that choice that you have when you're having a rough couple of weeks?
I mean, the biggest thing for me has been the recognition that this too shall pass. Right? nothing that I'm feeling, at least so far, has lasted forever. Like it's all temporary. And so just having that little space to breathe, just knowing that like wherever I'm at, whatever I'm feeling, whatever's going on, it's just temporary, and it will pass, is one of the biggest things that helps me step out of that place and not get caught up in it and not stay trapped in it. This too shall pass, and that goes for everything, whether it's the super low lows or the super high highs, like the ecstatic, like recognizing that it's just as easy to get lost and lose awareness in the super excited as it is the super depressing.
Mm-hmm.
And from that understanding of this too shall pass, it feels easier to, one, just be with whatever emotion is there, just feel it, just know it, and then as I'm just present with it, often the solution just kind of bubbles up out of that emotion. Like there'll be some sometimes it's as simple as this song that just pops in my head and gets stuck in my head, and it's just like one little lyric of that one song. So okay, where's that coming from? What's coming from that? And a lot of times that lyric is the answer to whatever problem I'm facing in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
Or like, so it's kind of, it's just being present with what is, and knowing that it's only temporary is something that makes it easier for me to be present.
Yeah, I love that, and I want to tie this together with something you told me the other day. But really being present with what is, I feel that that's the biggest caveat, because a lot of the time we aren't present or honest with ourselves about what and like something you said the other day. I was talking to you about something I was dealing with, and you said, "Are you being honest with yourself?" And it was like, and you were pointing out that a lot of time we point out the negative things being honest with ourselves about, but not necessarily the positive things. Like we it's so hard to see the things that we I feel like our identities don't want to actually see the successes that we've had, or see the contributions that we've made. And I feel like that kind of ties with what you're saying. We always have that, in being present with what is requires us to be honest with ourselves and not make it wrong, but also like celebrate where we have done amazing things.
Yeah, I love that word, celebration, because it's not about like I'm, you know, I feel like a lot of it for me is like I get scared of becoming too prideful and too confident, and then too convinced. Like I'm convinced that this is the way things are. And as far as I can tell, I don't really know, and it's that not knowing that has allowed me to just go, okay, how can I put this? I've been successful here, and I've been successful here a lot. And it's not because Matthew is particularly good at it. It's because I feel like I've become good at letting Matthew step aside and letting that thing that is bigger than me speak. And that's felt like a practice, and it's almost like an oxymoron to say it that way. But that's kind of how it feels. Like it's like it's just an acknowledgement that this has brought a lot of joy. And not labeling it right or wrong, not labeling it good or bad, but just acknowledging that, okay, like this has happened through me, and it's really beautiful. And
Yeah. It's being the vessel.
being a vessel, and being aware of that just as much as I'm aware of the possibility that I can become a teacher sometimes, and like in becoming a teacher, I become the expert, and then becoming the expert, I tend to push people away. So it's both. It's knowing, like it's being aware of both sides of it.
Mm. Yeah, and I think there's the space is just back to your original point is it's being present with what is, and I think that's all things grandiose or small happen in the present moment, and somebody's feeding that intuition in themselves in their experience, and I think this is a good time to welcome our guest here. But I feel very present to the power of our own creative expression, and and how we use art, how we use the present moment to not only deal with, but to take what we're dealing with and to impact others, and to take to let what we are going through, or we have gone through, be something that actually is lifting someone else up. And I think that's where we all rise together in our own experience of the world, where we're not figuring this out on our own. It's like we all actually can take responsibility for the well-being of our neighbor, and actually go out of our way to to use our unique gifts to lift others up.
Yeah, and just to allow that to happen, because it's like, again, it's not really me that's doing that. Like, it is sort of, but it's also that thing that's bigger than me. You know, whether you call that God or Allah or the divine or love or the universe, whatever, it's that it's being in touch with our own divinity. I feel like that is the biggest thing, and being able to channel that, being a vessel
Yeah,
for it, as you said. I
it's
actually really appreciate that word, being a vessel.
yeah, I think it's a balance between being, you know, it's like being in touch with our own divinity, but also being in presence of our own humanity. And it's like
Yeah.
it's a balancing act, because we all are human, but we're all capable of things greater than we can imagine.
Oh.
So
Yeah. On that note,
I'm
I feel like
excited for Trish. Let's welcome to the stage. This is our guest today is Trish Gianakis, and Trish, it's so good to have you with us.
Hi there. Hi, Abram. Hi,
Hi.
Matthew. Thank you for having me. I'm really happy to be here today.
Oh, thank
we're
you for
glad to
being
have you
here.
as well. Very much looking forward to hearing your story.
Thank you. The story, the topic that you're talking about is my passion, um, my my goal in life to find my true self and to be connected to God, the source of life, and to give back. And and it's like how could I have come to such a answer that so easily, but it wasn't easy to get to this point by any means. I have quite the journey, um, and I'll try not to go.
No,
It's
you're. This is no coincidence. We're so happy you're here and
thanks. That
excited to have you share your story with us. But if you're ready, without further ado, let's have Trish share. The stage is yours.
Okay, thank you. Um, well, for the longest time, I've always been an artist. I even did my first painting when I was 4 years old, oil painting, even. You know, my mother was an artist and she ran galleries. So I was always like that little kid in the corner playing with the paints. And I always knew I was going to be an artist. But somehow the need to make money kind of took over once I started getting into my career. You know, I got my degrees, I got my MFA from School of Visual Arts in New York. Well on my way of running my own company, a digital marketing creative agency. I was doing work for AMC Networks and working on all the great shows like Breaking Bad and Walking Dead and the Grammys and um, I got to work with Queen Latifah, who's a delight. Um, all these great celebrities, and it was just really very fast paced. And then I even became agency of record for Bayer Pharmaceuticals. I was their on site agency. So I was probably working, I worked really hard to get to this point. So work, 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 work. I was working 7 days a week, 12 hours a day or more. And that's all I did. I didn't see my family much because I was working. I was here and present, but not in mind. Like you said, the whole being present is so important. Well, I actually, after running my company and getting everything solidified, I actually ended up coming down with breast cancer. And that was a huge wake up call for me. And, it's very amazing and powerful when you get confronted with mortality and your life. And money then became not as important. Um, Embracing my family and gratitude for friends and even loving the trees. Like those were all the emotions that swelled up in me when I found out, rather than being angry or fearful. I just wanted to embrace everyone. So I actually turned my fear to my art, and I started painting again. And I hadn't, literally right before this happened, literally a month before this happened, I was giving my artwork away. I was like, I'm never going to do art again. I give up. I'm not doing this. I'm just going to do my business. And then it was like a light switch. And I just started doing my art again. And it was so powerful. From the moment I found out I got cancer, I did a painting. 2 days before my surgery, I did a painting while praying. And then while recovering, I couldn't move my arms at all because I had a bilateral mastectomy, which was super painful, excruciatingly painful. I drew and painted through the whole thing. And I'd like to share some of those paintings with you. I'm going to share my screen real quick. And let's see. Tell me if you can see it. So this is the painting I did the night before my surgery, and it's called Letting Go. So this is Letting Go. I painted turn that off. And then here's another painting called Healing Light. This painting I did while I was recovering and from getting the first set of bandages removed. And one thing I found interesting when I looked at this later, after I'd done the painting, I did a search for collective consciousness, healing thoughts, and healing projections. And I found, which is incredible, hundreds of artwork that looked like this. And I hadn't seen any of it. And other people were drawing the same thing with the white light coming from your head, right? The main source and the healing aura around you. And it was really, really amazing that I had that collective consciousness experience. Here's another piece I did called I Wear Pink while I was going through counseling, because all cancer patients kind of have to go through that. This is just like another painting of fear, because there were moments of fear. This is kind of how I felt after the surgery, kind of like the crucifix, so to speak. I felt like I was, in that place of thorns myself. And then this is a painting called Stand Strong. In this painting, my niece had created a GoFundMe page to help me. And even though I had all these great clients, some of them weren't paying me, and I was having problems with my medical bills. And my niece did a GoFundMe page to help raise money, and a food train was started. And it was just incredible, the love that came pouring out in my community and my family. And just the gratitude, when you change your attitude to gratitude, it really changes things in a recovery on so many levels. So now I'm actually 6 years now cancer free. I found out in July of 2015. Since then, I stopped running my business. I stopped working in corporate America. I started teaching full time. I'm teaching at St. Peter's University. I just knew I have to give it back. And for me, besides traditional art, I do computer art. And through my knowledge, because I have a master's degree in computer art, I wanted to teach our future generation, especially with COVID happening in 2020. That's when I like said, all right, I'm done with corporate. I'm not even going to work at one of these jobs anymore. I can't do it full time. I'll consult once in a while, but not full time ever again. And full time is being an artist first, and then being a teacher. So I actually give private art classes at my home. I have a little raku sign back there. I'm a raku artist, and I also teach all the computer art classes at St. Peter's for augmented reality and animation, web design, user experience design, and sculpture. And I'm supposed to be teaching life drawing in the fall too, and marketing for artists too. So huge career shift, huge life shift. But just even being here today, I know I'm doing the right thing because, it's fulfilling to give back, especially when you're given another chance. So, and yeah, I'm showing, I've had numerous solo shows now. I was artist in residence at Ocean House Resort. I won awards. It's just been mind blowing. The last, it's actually the last 5 years that I got back into my art, like full time with that cautious decision. But the painting got me back into it, and drawing. And actually, I'm also a published poet, Visible Ink with Ketter and Sloan. They do once a year. They have cancer survivors pair up with writers, and we all collaborate on stories and poetry for their Visible Ink issue that comes out in the fall every year. And that's a pretty amazing experience because they have professional actors act out the different poems, selected poems and stories from the edition. And I made some really great friendships through that experience as well. It's been just an amazing journey, and I'm very close to my family and friends, and just giving back as much as I can, as you said when you opened up. So, and the raku I do is really crazy. Raku is a Japanese firing process. Let me bring that up. I can show you guys one of my raku videos. Let's see. Do you guys have any questions while I'm going on?
So while you're setting that up,
Okay.
I wonder if you could talk a little bit more about what is it that is happening when you're painting?
Well, I'm doing more sculpture now than painting. And besides my sculpture, I create digital art. So I combine augmented reality with my physical artwork and found objects. Some pieces has fiber optic wire combined, so I'm sculpting. I sculpt the pieces first, which when I come up with the initial concept, sometimes I'll do digital sketches that turn into artworks too, or I'll do rough mock-ups with clay, but then I go into sculpting. And I also work out the whole vision in my mind as well. Um, but it is emotional when I'm creating my art. My art is very much based on emotions. And I've had people tell me my art's interactive because you have to go up to it and see what's actually happening, and they feel what I'm feeling when they look at the work. So,
Yeah, that really shines through, and I first of all, Trish, I really acknowledge you for just taking this this gift that you have, and out of such out of like a terrifying diagnosis, and creating so much beauty out of something like that, and sharing it, and contributing with others. And one question that kind of comes to me is, when say you didn't have that diagnosis, um do you like where did like how do you think that contributed to your purpose? Because you are now sharing your gift in ways you probably didn't imagine when you were back then and before 2015. So like, so what, like, do you think you had to have that experience to be where you are now? Or like, what, like, tell us more about that.
yeah, I do think so. Because, like I said, I was giving my art away. I was saying I didn't want to ever do this anymore. Um, I didn't think I was good enough.
Mm,
Um, and I've always known this was my sole purpose, to do
right.
my art and the way I create my art. It's always been, even since I was younger, it's always been based on emotions and to help other people. Um,
Yeah.
I do serve as a muse a lot for many people, and I have my students. They just love taking classes, and I love teaching them. It's
Yeah.
so rewarding to have them come up and say, "Yeah, I learned more from your class than anybody else," and or, "This is the class I look forward to the most in my day." That's really rewarding. It makes me
Yeah.
know I'm doing the right thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that there's an authenticity that shines through, and
Mhm.
in this world, like, so much of the society and so much of what we're taught is not to be real. Like, we're taught to conform to fit in, and
Mhm.
so in that type of world, like, I feel like people are craving authenticity and they don't even know it. And so to
Mhm.
meet someone who's actually being that and teaching at the same time, I know that experience, and it's insanely powerful.
Yeah. Absolutely. And it really, it really shines through. And I think it's beautiful that you facing your mortality, opened up this inquiry for you, and it sounds like it uncovered what was always there, but it kind of was an opportunity for you to step into your purpose and your power without those thoughts that before about the self-worth and the questions that were there before almost were muted, or like just kind of I have an image of like bouncers, like stop those thoughts, or like don't even there's no room for those thoughts. Like, Trish is just gonna shine through and do what Trish does, and we're all better off for it, and it's just so beautiful.
Well, thank you. I do get those other thoughts, and it's a battle to fight those
Mm,
thoughts. I've been sick with COVID for the last 3 weeks and haven't been able to
mm,
do anything. That definitely takes you down. And then when you get that imposter thought, and I get that sometimes, I just go right into my studio and just dig into the clay, and I just start making. I don't even think. I just start, and then when I get the feeling of the clay and I start moving, it's like a rhythm, you know.
mhm.
And then I'll create something. Then I'll look at it, I'm like, oh wow, I like that. And everything melts away.
Well, it's a
I like,
beautiful practice. Go ahead, Matthew.
well, yeah, like, it. I'm not a Christian. I don't. I'm not really religious at all, but I do find wisdom in a lot of that in a lot of religions. And one of the things that really stands out is, we're made in the image of God, and what is God? God is a creator. And I don't know many people who are so directly being that. Like, we
And
all are, but like to actually be physically hands on, like, and not just creating something to sell a piece of art, or not having a reason to create other than just to create, and then just seeing what comes out of it, like that. I yeah, I want to see more of your work, and I want to see the Roku stuff.
Oh, you want me to show it now?
Yeah, if you have it
Sure.
ready.
Make sure I have the right video here. I have quite a few. Um, let's see. And more recently, I've been doing NFTs too with some video art. But let me see. Um, make sure I'm pulling up the best video to show. I have a lot of them. Let's see. Let me just double check that that's. Um, let's see. I will show you one of my pieces called Birth. And this piece is, I worked with a writer on this piece. And she wrote a book about Mark Chabal's lover, who, let's see, I have a lot of screens open here. Sorry about this.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Can you
wait
see
until you
that?
actually get the video full screen until I add it to the stream,
Let's see. Sorry, wrong button.
because otherwise we're just gonna get that infinite mirror effect.
Mm, yeah, I don't have the full. Let me see. Yeah, I can't pull it all the way because it's a small video.
Uh, well, let's just see what happens. Oh, yep. See, there it goes.
Uh-oh. Oops.
Yeah.
Please stop sharing.
Um,
Oops.
yeah.
Um, I wanted to show you that. You know what I'm gonna
If you
do?
have an image of it, that might work too.
While you're pulling that up, I just one of the things you kind of shared the keys to the kingdom, and one of the things you said because you're saying those thoughts, those worthiness thoughts, those imposter syndrome thoughts don't stop, and if they didn't, you wouldn't. If those thoughts did stop, you wouldn't be human. But how you respond to that, saying you had COVID for 3 weeks, you've had all these experiences, but you were just like, but regardless of those thoughts, you were like, I just go straight to the studio and I create and I work, and it's like, and that's you've created an environment, an atmosphere for yourself that those thoughts can't even survive, because you're just like, it's like a furnace. You're like, well, it's like, okay, thank you for sharing, and I'm gonna go put my hands in some clay and see how powerful those thoughts are then. And like
Right?
you literally conquer those thoughts in just
Oops.
your environment and your practice that you've created, that those thoughts don't stand a chance.
Let's see. I'm running out of battery. Sorry, I gotta plug in.
Oh,
You're
okay.
okay.
I don't need to be distracted. I have this. Let me show you this now.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, there's this beautiful Rumi quote. He says, "When you wake up in the morning, don't go into the study and read. Instead, take down a musical instrument. Let the beauty of what you are be what you do."
Ooh, that's beautiful.
I love that.
Okay, so can you just see the video now?
Yeah, there we go. Good job.
So, whoops, turn that down. I had an audience that day. This is the birth piece. I had to have someone help me because it was so heavy, and I wasn't running my own kiln yet. So this is the piece, and this is her on fire. So the piece we pulled out of the kiln, it was 1800 degrees. And with this piece, I ended up doing burnt horsehair. Um, and I just love this because of the fire coming out of the mouth when I pulled her out.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's amazing.
So that's the
Wow.
first step in the process. And then let me open the second piece. I'm going to show you what it looks like. Um, oh,
So
wait.
it's not just birthed by your hands; it's birthed in fire,
Yes, exactly.
like well, forged in fire. Like that. It's kind of a metaphor for our entire lives, isn't it? Like we're here,
Okay.
created, and then this world is literally forging us in fire.
So this is my kiln. Can you see that?
Yeah.
This is when I was the artist in residence at Ocean House Resort. So I bring my kiln up to different places, and then I make the pieces, and people get to blaze it. And this is just some of the works that I'm pulling the piece out of the kiln. The kiln again is 1800 degrees, and then basically I put the piece that has to get smoldering with carbon fire. Not that much to leave a carbon imprint, but it's part of the process. And so we cover the flame, and the flame actually licks the piece, causes a chemical reaction with the glazes, and creates iridescent lusters, and the clay turns dark black, and it just creates so many amazing effects. Um, and it's kind of exciting. I love to do raku because it is kind of a all body, mind, physical experience when I'm doing everything.
Yeah, I see that. Like it's so like it's so present. Like you have to be like there, paying attention. Otherwise, you're gonna hurt yourself. Like,
Exactly. And then
yeah.
I want to show you my gallery. You can go into there, um, and this is let me you can see it.
There we go.
All right, so this is my virtual gallery, and in here, um, I actually have my NFTs. Um, this is one of my moving paintings. Make it bigger. And this is on OpenSea. It's called She's on Top. This particular series is my body identity series. Kind of like after my body healed and I was kind of rediscovering myself. And it was kind of like an ocean of emotions to see myself in my new body, and not wanting to show my face and not wanting to show the form, but the form's hidden, and that's kind of how life has been, like revealing itself, moving very slowly and changing constantly. So that's this one piece. This is actually on OpenSea. Um, and then here's another one of my paintings.
This is wild. So you can actually view this in VR too if you want.
Yeah, so we're actually in my gallery right now. Um, this one is, I might be running out of memory. This one is also an animated painting, moving painting. And this is actually going to be in NFT NYC next week uh, at their Crypto Voxel show, where I'm going to be exhibiting with other artists on the human form. Um, yeah, it's definitely fun going in and out of this gallery. I'm definitely trying to get around and show you guys things here. Um,
Wow.
this
Oh, what's
painting,
that piece?
this is so I actually got my first my first NFT commission last February of last year. Um, so I was commissioned to do two digital paintings, and then I made the animated NFTs to accompany them. So I delivered the physical painting with a chip in it called that also converted the painting into the NFT asset, the physical asset, and then you have this part of the NFT that's in the digital wallet. So as you can see, like the whole digital experience is really important to me besides the physical, because I've always been a digital artist. Um, and that's called Blue Waters. Um, oops, sorry. And this piece here, closer. This here, this is another one of my. This is actually a raku sculpture. That's an NFT as well. And this is a video of the digital asset that would be the NFT, and then whoever buys the NFT digital portion, they get the physical sculpture with the artwork. This is called Jinx spelled backwards because it was kind of like my reaction to Trump. He's like, he's fooling us, but we'll get him back. So it's kind of like a lot of emotion there during
Yeah.
that time. And then if we go here, these are some more pieces I created during COVID. Um, Very busy during COVID with my art. This is called
Wow.
Caged. And here are the three sculptures that go with that. That again is the NFT with the physical art. So I'm on it. There really aren't any other artists doing the physical. Maybe some artists are starting to do it now, but I've been doing it for a year now. So it kind of like I don't know. I got into this very early on.
So how did you get into this? Like, what was the story there?
Well, I've always done digital art. Um, Back in 2019, I was asked. I was one of the presenters at Art World Conference in New York, and I was asked to be a speaker, and I got to attend other speakers' um, sessions. And one woman was talking about crypto art and the blockchain. So it was very intriguing to me, and I actually was, I kind of got into. Um, I was getting into crypto art, cryptocurrency. I was curious about it and started learning about it. But since I'm always in the digital mix of things, I'm always, trying to learn new technologies. Everything changes every 3 months, so I'm always in the mix. For some reason, though, my videos are not playing. It might be a memory problem, but this is an animated piece.
I
This
love
is
this immersive gallery, and there's so your work is so unique, and there's so much
it's
emotion, but there's also like it, everything you've shown us is so alive, and for me it seems like you've added like a new dimension to art. It's like there's like the class. Go to the Renaissance, you think of the classic way. Like what's art is either a painting, a sculpture. It's like you've like brought in the experience of art as like a sequence, and like you're it's like your paintings are breathing, and it's just like it just feels like it's it's like it's beautiful on so many fronts because you've kind of created and utilized a new digital medium, but in a way that like it's like between physical and digital worlds, and it's so beautiful. I just love
oh,
it.
thank
Everything
you.
you shared is just beautiful.
Well, it's very transcending for me too, and I just love the coding aspect and my brain. It's like so full half the time though. But this here's a couple other of my pieces. This piece here is called Oral Fixation. This is also an NFT, and this is the Raku sculpture combined with fiber optic wire, and
Wow.
it's kind of like how we do get attached to things and fixated on things, whether it's smoking, addictions, or bad relationships or something. The piece, it's beautiful, but it does have a lot of negative connotation to it for me. But I don't know how other people see it. But that piece did a lot for me when I created it.
Yeah, I look at that and I literally see the energetic flow of our words. Like the way
And
that they come wrap around, they reinforce thought
oh,
structures, but they also affect other people, and it's that whole energy game that we can play with language, and that can be both healing and destructive, and it all comes down to how we respond and our intention behind it. To me,
yeah,
anyways, that's
exactly.
amazing. So, do you have like one of the things you said earlier that I really loved is like like you were really upset and you just went and you just put your hands in the clay and like created something. When you looked at it, it was just, oh, is there a piece that like you had, like you weren't sure what you were creating as you were creating it, but when you step back it spoke to you, that's
Oh,
really present right now? I'm like, what is that piece and what is its
this piece,
what is the message?
this is actually one of those pieces. Um, and so you're gonna love this. So second year into my recovery, I became obsessed with trees and bark. I was going up to trees. I was practically hugging them. I just had to be near trees, and I'd find bark. I'm like, oh, it's so. And I
Oh,
started making pieces with the bark, and I started sculpting with the bark. And this is a piece, and I call this Kundalini Awaken. And this is specifically made from bark. And I love how it came out. It just, the colors, I get these beautiful lusters with the glazes. And basically, the interesting thing I found out with my obsession, a friend of mine said, Trish, your medication's made from bark. I was like, oh my
The
God.
trees are speaking to you.
Exactly. Um,
Oh,
like, here's another one of my pieces made from bark. Um,
Wow.
um, so this is another piece. This is called Conversations. Again, this is an NFT that it's a physical piece that's an NFT. And these pieces, when I show them, I've been fortunate enough to sell. Uh, every time I have a show, I've been fortunate enough that they've been selling out. This one's Kundalini Rising. So it's a form I just started creating, just like you said. That's what I ended up with. Um, the face pieces are definitely more deliberate. Um, my works, they do change over time. Uh, this particular piece was one of my favorite sculptures. I actually turned it into a photo montage and put it up for auction at Visual Aids back in 2019, and I was really proud that somebody bought it. And it was to benefit AIDS. Well, I hung the piece in a gallery, and I had my Me Too moment, one of many Me Too moments. And now I'm not embarrassed to talk about my Me Too moments. I used to be embarrassed, but when at the time, I probably should have taken the artwork and left the place that it was on exhibit at because of the situation that I was put in. Instead, I just kind of ran out and left all my artwork behind. Somebody did something very inappropriate. And then I finally got the artwork back, and only to find that it was crushed to
mm.
pieces. And I was just devastated. So again, my work is all my emotions. Let me get closer to this here. Here we go. So I ended up creating my first augmented reality filter with the piece. And I wanted people, I came up with a project where people could wear my art and be part. I tried to get 100 people to wear my art. This is right before COVID. Um, so I was using a QR code to launch the artwork. Like, so I had to explain the whole process to people. So this is the piece, and it's called Insensuous. And then these are all the different people who have worn my art um, from the show that I had, and it was people really enjoyed it. Some people think it's scary. It's funny that that's like the face is here, and you're on my face. So, um, but that's one of those pieces. It's kind of interesting to see all the different people. Um,
Wow.
there's that oral fixation again.
There's not like I don't connect to a lot of art or artists. Like I feel like a lot of it is just there to make money. Like they're not really putting themselves into it. They're not really being present and making it. But a lot of this, like, there's a couple pieces I've seen where if I had the opportunity, I had the money and the space, I would absolutely want that on my altar or like in my house as just a reminder or a connection for, especially the Kundalini pieces. I feel like those were really beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's so
Yeah,
beautiful and
these are some.
immersive.
I'll
And
just.
you're just like welcoming and inviting us into the theater of your mind. I'm like as much moved by the pieces as the whole world that you're sharing, and it's like that's what I'm talking about. It's like a new dimension of artwork that it's not just the art, it's the world that you're creating, and you're inviting us in.
I feel.
Excuse me.
God bless you.
Thank you.
It took a while to get to this point. I mean, I tried several platforms to build the gallery, but I'm really happy with how this one turned out. This piece I actually did in honor of my brother. It's called Rainbow. Um, and this piece, it's one glaze, and I got the full spectrum of the
Oh,
colors.
Wow.
which is really
Yeah.
incredible to do. And I showed it and in New York, and it sold as soon as the show opened. But and here's another piece I did when we had to start wearing masks. Of course, I didn't cover the nose because I just couldn't deal with covering my nose at the time. And again, I was mentioning how I combine different. This is like a wire tree coming out of a face, and that's Mother Earth called Sabella. Um, and this is another one of my pieces too. This is Pearl. I made an augmented reality app to go with that one. And I think we're running out of memory. That's why these are not showing up very well. My dancer's in a box right now. I'm not sure why she's in a box, but I have to figure that out. But you can dance. I can dance with her if I'm on it. But I'll send you guys the link if you want to visit the gallery
Yes, please.
and walk around and
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to. I wonder if I could
Yeah.
actually get my VR rig up and running and see if it'll actually work still. I don't know if I
oh
have. Yeah, like I have one of the Oculus, the ones that you have to have your phone to work with,
oh
and
interesting.
I don't know if it would load properly on that, but I'd love to try it. It's been a long time since I've even used it.
Do you want me to give you a link in the chat or
Yes, please.
Yeah, and actually put it in the chat, and we'll actually create a banner and put it up,
okay?
um, so we can share it with the world. And then, so also like the classes that you're teaching, like what is what is the one thing you would love for your students to walk away with from your classes?
Um, well, it's interesting that you say that. So I am teaching this one girl, and she's in high school, and her parents, her mom brings her over on Sundays, and I teach her how to throw on the potter's wheel. It's very basic, but I know this girl. I know she's had some emotional issues of her own, insecurities, body image problems, and things like that. And it's just I could just see her light up when she comes, and just to see her light up, and then we talk when I'm teaching her how to throw. I tell her, all right, you got to be centered. You got to center that clay. You're just like that clay. You are in charge. The clay's not in charge of you. And when you're doing this, just think about this. This is you, right? Centering yourself, getting calm, being in charge. And I like give her all these like words that relate to life while she's growing. And she's just so lit when she has her class with me, and her parents see such a huge difference in her self confidence. And it's just a beautiful thing.
It's so beautiful. There's like I'm noticing themes in your creativity and how you just summed it up now. Like how you're working with clay, but you also see yourself as clay, and that's what's so beautiful. And I can see why, people that you're teaching and supporting, why they would have such an amazing, impactful difference that it makes for them because you're living your art and like everything you just shared is an embodiment of that same thing. What you've created in the virtual world is is merely just a piece of what your how your creative brain works. But you've like invited people into your world, but not only your world, your process, like in the creative process itself. So you've like created a process, but also like a world for us to visit and to experience. And I'm just like I'm excited about seeing all of your work. I'm excited about work you're going to create in the future, and I'm excited about the future of art and just like you know where media develops and new technology develops, where creations like yours will be in the real world. It just blows my mind. Like what you've created is just like the most. It's like a micro and a macro. Like every piece is a world, but you've also created an experience that's emotional, that's powerful, and how you bring that to yourself and treat yourself as the clay as much as the clay itself is just a beautiful thing to experience and to watch. And I'm inspired.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I do, I have students that come to take classes from me, never have touched clay before in their lives, even this past fall at the university. And the kids that were like so fulfilled, and they were like, I think we all have, everyone is an artist in their own way. It's just a matter of finding what it is that, you know, brings out your creativity.
Hmm.
What is the form that you can take?
Absolutely. And that's,
I
I mean, to
amazing.
me, that's our purest essence. Like that is,
Hmm.
like, it's if I'm not creating, then I'm not really being me.
And you even said it before, like, you know, God is the ultimate creator, and He made us in His image to create, and to create for good, and to create for humanity.
When you're
And to create to
practicing
learn.
that, how you do that though, your art and your being in that essence is an invitation for everybody. That's what's like keep blowing my mind is like your process and your action of creating is literally like making me want to create.
I'm so happy I'm inspiring you. I think that's awesome.
Very much. I'm very inspired by who you are and what you're and just the gift that you're sharing with us. And it's I want to like I want to visit that gallery and like I want to go there in real life.
Or come here for a raku.
Yeah,
That'd be yeah.
sounds amazing. I would
I'd
love
be
it.
totally down for that. So real
Yeah.
quick before we close, what's next for you?
Well, I just got another residency, which I can't talk about yet, and it's
Oh,
really amazing. It's kind of like the dream residency, um, and the contracts are being signed now. But it's really incredible. I'm floored and honored by this opportunity, and it's going to be a big leap for me to be able to just do more art and teach more.
That's
congratulations.
awesome.
Thank
Yeah.
you. And
Yeah.
just I think it just I actually I'm going to have the ability to just focus more on my art too, which the I always have this struggle between money. Do I have enough money to live? And is it selfish to do my art? And I'm coming to the point where I have to be. It's not selfish. It's who I am, and I'm allowed to do it. So I'm giving myself that okay, that it's all right.
Yeah, absolutely. It's I I mean how you just said that, I feel like many artists and entrepreneurs and creators relate with that. It's the dance of impact and income, and it's you know we want it's and it's at the end of the day, and this is kind of like kind of the full circle, and just in what you're creating and in your story and how you what you've overcome, and here you are now. But a big part of it is recognizing the value that you give others just in your authentic self-expression. And it's it's I feel like the conversation each artist and each creator has with themselves is like, what is this piece of art that is uniquely me and something that I created? How do I put a monetary value to this? How do I like, and what is it selfish for me to make that? There's a story, a quick story someone shared with me about Picasso. Um, Saying, I think he was in there was some cafe, and he did this like quick piece of artwork in Picasso fashion on a napkin, and someone came up to him and said, "Hey, I want to buy that from you," and Picasso said, "Sure, it's $40,000." And he was like, "Wait, what? Like $40,000? It's like I saw you. It took you like 5 or 10 minutes to do that." And he's like, "No, it actually took me 50 years of my life to get to this point to draw that painting." And it's like, and I think that like the value is our experience. It's the emotion, like you're saying, all those tears and fear and all the things you faced, you've put into the clay. And that takes courage, but it's like, not to mention the courage it takes to put it out in the world. It's just mind boggling. But you have so much value just from this 1 hour we've been together. I'm like, wow, I'm excited for every person that comes across your work. I'm excited for every person that is in your space that, just like, I can't wait for the next person that is in the same room as you says, I really don't know how to, I don't think I could ever create if I tried, or I don't think I could draw or make a sculpture. Like, I can't wait to like the next person that says that when you're in the room. And like,
I'll let you know what happens.
yeah, please. Yeah.
Please
come
do.
back and share
Yeah,
some
we'd
more.
absolutely love to have you back. Yeah.
Trish, thank you so much for
Oh,
being with us and sharing with us your story and your amazing artwork. And I am very inspired by you, and I'm just so excited to hear about what's to come. And we'd love to have you come back and share with us some more. I'm just so thrilled again that who you are and who you're being in the world is such an enriching experience for everybody. And I just like,
thank
it
you.
inspires me. I'm just so happy to have you with us.
Thank you, Abram. That's very kind of you to say. I appreciate that. I'm really happy to be here. It was an honor. And thank you, Matthew, too.
Trish, thank you so much.
Our
It's been a
pleasure.
pleasure. Very much looking forward to meeting you again. I like. I don't know. I feel like I feel inspired. I do. Like I feel inspired because I don't. As I said before, I don't meet many artists that actually feel real,
Oh,
and I love that you're just here. Like you're just here, and you're just being you, and it's perfect.
oh, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
I guess I don't play the game.
Exactly.
Well, you made the new game. You changed the rules, and so I don't want to play that game. This game's way more fun. It's such an honor and a pleasure and a privilege to have you, Trish. So thank you for being with us.
Thank
I'm
you.
gonna real quick check in with our audience and just thank you all who tuned in with us and for just for giving us your attention, your energy, and I want to really give you an opportunity to share your gift. To be on this stage. This space is about what you uniquely have. And what gifts you have to share, and we want to. Maybe we're selfish, but we want to share your gift. We want to give others, lift others up, give them that experience of love, of laughter, of beauty, of wonder, you know, in what you've experienced in your life and what you've overcome and learned. You have something so powerful that somebody somewhere needs to hear today. And I want to invite you to be a guest on our stage. And that's what this movement is about. Our mission here one day is bringing you and me and communities together in joyous celebration, unifying humanity in our diversity to create a better world for us all. And this is all a part of our vision here, where humanity's rising in a connected world with each person's unique gifts, contributions, and genius are valued and magnified through a higher level of collaboration, producing unprecedented new realms of possibility. Just like how Trish just shared. I'm inspired. I'm in awe. I think I need a moment to like decompress and just take it all in. I'm gonna definitely check out her online gallery. And also, if you check the comments, you can also look at the gallery as well. And thank you again, Trish, for being here. And we'll see you all next week. I love you all. Be safe, be well, and as always, one day is today.